So thank you for joining the presentation today. I appreciate your commitment to Safe Place and to helping us out in our Together for Teens event this year. Today we're going to discuss a little bit about being a virtual table host captain and what we like to call as a remote table host. So we'll go through this. It should take us no more than about 20 minutes, and hopefully you'll have all your questions answered, and we'll get started. So here we go. So we are here to, as I mentioned, to discuss the 2021 Together for Teens event this year on May 25th at 7 p.m. Our agenda today, we'll just discuss kind of the role of the YMCA and Safe Place and how they work together. And then we'll discuss how the remote table hosts are so important to the success of this event. And then we'll learn about our cases for support from the programs at Safe Place. And then we'll talk about making an ask, being an ask to go to the event, to attend the presentation, and also to make a financial donation. And then we'll talk about reporting, how we can get out information to you and how you can get information to us. And then we'll review some online resources. So the YMCA Safe Place Services is a branch of the YMCA of Greater Louisville. Safe Place has been around since 1974, and the Safe Place mission is to accept, affirm, and advocate for youth by empowering them to reach their full potential in spirit, mind, and body. And for those of you that are familiar with the YMCA's mission, to put Christian principles into practice through programs that build a healthy spirit, mind, and body, I would say that Safe Place clearly aligns with the mission of the YMCA, and it is some of the main mission work that we do in addition to the other programs that the YMCA of Greater Louisville offers. So we understand that we are a nonprofit organization. Everything that we do will go, and the money that we make goes back into the programs on fundraisers such as this. So in the past year, Safe Place has served over 1,200 youth and their families through a multitude of programs, be it the Why Now mentoring program for children that have parents that are incarcerated, or our shelter house, which is probably most maybe most familiar with the little yellow and black diamond shaped signs. It's a beacon of hope for kids that need immediate safety and shelter in their time of need. And then we also have our Youth Development Center and Street Outreach Program, where we're working with homeless young adults age 18 to 24 to help them find stable housing. And we've, again, served over 1,200 people this year. So in 2020, we've had a Together for Teens breakfast, and we've been doing this breakfast for several years. But unfortunately, COVID happened and the breakfast was canceled, and we lost our #1 fundraiser for 2020. So what we're trying to do this year is to keep in mind the safety of our supporters and our donors and our participants by transitioning this event to a virtual event. But we are in need of financial support, right? So what we need to do is to work together, and that's why we're asking for your support as a table host this year to kind of work with your peers to ask them to attend this event, to learn more about Safe Place and the impact that we have on the community, and ultimately raise some money for the organization. So our annual campaign is the Together for Teens event. As I mentioned, is a virtual event, and it requires the support of literally dozens of people. In the past, we've had about 500 people at an in-person event. This year, we anticipate to widen that reach. So since it is virtual, we'll rely on our table host to get their core group of people there, but then we will be pushing this out to the masses. So we anticipate a lot of people participating this year and just learning more. So we're really excited about the opportunity to do it virtual this year, and our expectations are to have a very successful event, not only in sharing those stories and reaching more people, but financially as well. We anticipate, or we hope to raise, and we expect to raise about $100,000 this year, and those will come through gifts, one-time gifts, pledges, be it multiple year or throughout this year, and also sponsorships to the event. So, so there's several different ways that we anticipate raising the revenue for this event. And if you are in contact with a business or an organization that would like to sponsor, my contact information will be at the end of this presentation. As I mentioned, the event is on May 25th, but if you see on here, our deadline for collecting our pledges and our gifts will be June 11th. That will allow more people to view the presentation after the event, and for our table host to coordinate with their guests and to do some follow up and to make sure that they their guests have all their questions answered. So as far as the folks that will be able to be the most meaningful to you in supporting you in this event, one would be Nikki Thornton. Nikki is a member of our board and also is the executive director of the True Up organization. She is very passionate about Safe Place and is a true cheerleader to our organization and what we do, and we couldn't ask for a better event chair this year. Most of y'all may have already met Matt Reed. Matt has been with Safe Place for over 20 years and is our executive director. My name is Dave Brennan, and I am the development director for Safe Place. And then some key staff members that I want you to take note of are Amanda Mills, who runs our Youth Development Center and Street Outreach Program, Brittany Leon, who runs our Why Now Mentoring Program, and Quan Founder, who runs our Shelter House. All of the folks on this screen will be able to help you if you have questions regarding our programs. Amanda and Brittany and Quan can help you out there as far as tactics and strategies. I can help you out. Matt can give you an in-depth history of Safe Place and as far as what's worked, what hasn't worked, and what we continue to do and the vision for the future. And obviously, Nikki, as a board member, can give you some insight into what the board does and what this event means to Safe Place. So your role as a volunteer. So number one, we'd ask that you participate. So we would ask that you actually participate by attending the presentation on May 25th, listening to the 40-minute presentation and being engaged in that, so that if your guests have questions afterwards, you'll be aware of what was going on there. And then obviously making your own financial gift is important to this. So our volunteers, it's a lot easier to make an ask of someone, be it to go to the event or to make a financial donation if you've committed as well. So we would ask for your support financially as well. And then we would ask that you learn the impact of Safe Place. That's through our cases of support. And then ultimately, you need to share that, right? You need to get out in front of your peers. We would ask that that you would commit to getting at least 8 people to attend the event on your behalf. And what traditionally that means is you're going to have to invite 12 to 15 people to do that. And so you'll need to share that quite a bit. And we'll talk about some tactics to do that a little bit later. But sharing those cases for support, sharing what Shelter House does, what Why Now means to the community, and what our drop-in center means to the community. And then we're going to ask you to, after you've shared, to ask your peers to attend the event and ask them if they would like to commit to a specific gift. So this year is unique in that folks can make a gift prior to the event. So we would love to kind of have some money in the piggy bank going into the event, and it'll make our day of fundraising a little bit less stressful. So certainly encourage your guests to make a gift prior, but definitely attend the event because they may be motivated even more after they hear the stories. And then ultimately thanking everyone for their participation, regardless if they attend to make a donation. We appreciate their time and willingness to learn more about Safe Place. So our cases for support. So the reason why Safe Place works so well and why nonprofits work well is when they fill a need in the community. So when we look at the programs that we offer, we believe that they solve a community need. Youth safety, conflict, housing options, those are community needs. And the data shows that we need support in all three of those areas. Obviously, gun violence, we can't turn on the news nowadays without hearing about a tragedy. Recently, we had a Why Now graduate who was murdered through gun violence. This is a 14-year-old kid, and we'll talk more about that in the cases for support. But I want you to kind of understand what we're dealing with. These youth that we work with have not had the best of their situation, and obviously, when a child gets murdered, that's the third child of that's the third Why Now graduate in 2021 that has been murdered through gun violence. Child abuse, our kids in shelter through COVID and no fault of their own have been maybe put in more difficult and more dangerous situations because they were limited to where they could go and they weren't in school so that the teachers could report that. So many of the kids that we're seeing in our shelter house now have been victims of more devastating child abuse. And then our homelessness population, the fastest growing homeless population is 18 to 24-year-olds, not only in this community, but in the nation. And through the three programs that Safe Place offers, we support all of those. The Why Now Mentoring Program, our shelter house, and our street outreach. So, I've mentioned these three programs kind of throughout, and I've given you some some tough stories about Safe Place, and we about our Why Now kids being murdered and the trauma that those kids experience. We've talked about shelter and the abuse that these kids are experiencing. But if you could imagine an 18-year-old kid that doesn't have anywhere to go, and how tragic that is, and how hopeless that they may feel. Those are the youth that we're dealing with and the young adults that we're dealing with. There will be a representative from each of our programs that will speak at the event and at the presentation that can give a firsthand experience of this. But from a case for support from your all standpoint, we just want you to understand that not everybody has the same opportunities, and we can't turn a blind eye to that. So what these kids are experiencing is a community problem, and we want to build up our community, and we can do that by supporting these youth. So some of the tactics that you can use and some of the ways that you can look for your peers to support you. Number one, if you know folks that are members of the YMCA, chances are that they've heard of Safe Place. As I mentioned, Safe Place is a branch of the YMCA, and we share the Safe Place story with all of our branches because it is so compelling. So if you're talking to someone that you know is a member of the Y, it may be an opportunity for you to them to say, hey, I know you're a member of the Y. Have you heard about Safe Place? And I'm volunteering for Safe Place, and let me tell you a little bit more. We obviously spend a heck of a lot of time communicating with our coworkers. Some of our best work pals are people that we spend the most time with outside of our family, and they would be willing to listen to you, and especially something that you're passionate about. We encourage you that if you work in circles or have associates that are business owners, that we would talk to them about not only attending the event, but possibly sponsoring our event. We would love for your folks that have the capacity to step up to talk to us and have a more in-depth conversation. And then obviously your closest friends. We share a lot with our friends, and our passions is one of them. So they would be certainly willing to listen to something that you're passionate about. Your relatives, folks in your neighborhood, and then members of organizations. A lot of us are members of boards or community organizations, and we would certainly appreciate it if you would ask those folks as well, so that we could have a well-rounded group of people that are attending the event and may have the capacity to make a financial donation. So when you're planning your ask, it may be important to kind of, if you know the background information on the folks that are in your peer group, that could be very important to you, right? So if the folks that you're talking to or the folk that you're talking to has a connection to at-risk youth, there's always an ear for that, right? So if they've experienced the foster care system or had a family member that experienced trauma, there's a connection there, and they would be a great person to approach about this. And as we mentioned several times, the cases for support. So obviously we want to be able to talk about the programs, the mentoring program for kids age 11 to 15, our YDC and street outreach program for young adults 18 to 24, and our shelter houses for youth aged 12 to 17. And we've talked about each of those respectively and how young those folks are that may need our support. And then we've mentioned also about the capacity to give. So obviously, we would hate to leave something on the table if a person has the capacity to make a $600 gift and we're asking them for a $30 gift. We may have lost out on that opportunity. And the same goes the opposite way, right? We don't want to ask a person for a $100 gift if their capacity to give may be $10. So just be aware of that capacity and be clear in your purpose of the meeting. Let them know that, hey, you want to talk to them about an organization that you're passionate about and you'd love to spend 10 or 15 minutes talking with them about an event that's coming up and share some exciting news about that. And then when you make the ask, so just enforce while you're there, right? You want to let them know that you're a volunteer. Besides our staff members, everybody that's doing this is a volunteer. They're volunteering their time, and that shows a lot of commitment to our volunteers to be going out and sharing that story. So let them know what you're doing, and then again, a case for support. That's terribly important, and frankly, that's why this event works so well. Is when these young people get up and tell their stories. That emotional aspect really touches folks and makes an impact on them. And then when you make the ask, ask for their support in attending the May 25th event. The event will be broadcast at 7 p.m. that evening. And then we want to let them know in advance that there will be an ask then. This is a fundraiser, and we would ask for their financial support. And then we want to give them the opportunity to let them know that they can make that gift in advance online if they'd like to do that. And we'll talk about some of the specific dollar amounts here in a minute, be it $100, $300, $600, or a member of our Together for Teens Society. So some examples. So again, this is a conversation, and we don't want folks to feel that they are being a burden to their peers. Their peers will understand your passion, and especially the story of Safe Place. So many youth are affected by this that you're going to have a willing ear and a participant that wants to hear more about the great things that Safe Place does. So the easiest way to make an ask, be it you're doing a financial ask or an ask to attend the event, is, hey, would you join me in attending the event on Tuesday, May 25th? Or, hey, I've made a $300 gift to Safe Place this year. Would you join me in making that $300 gift another $300 gift so that we can get more kids to participate in the YDC program? The renewal, this may go into some of the folks that have worked with us in the past that know that they have donors that give every year. So if you have a donor that gives $600 or $1,000 every year, this would be an opportunity for you to ask them to consider increasing their donation this year. We've got doubling written right there, but again, that goes into the capacity of your donors. But we would ask them to increase their renewal this year, and then the consider. Typically it's not a hard sell, right? We're just asking them to consider supporting 2 kids at Shelter House, because the average stay there is cost about $1,000 per kid. So if you would consider a $2,000 gift, that would help support two youth stay at and get their problems worked out while they're at the shelter house. And then you can give them some options of being able to spread that out over the remaining months of the year, make it easier for them. But just, it's a simple conversation, and people understand that organizations like Safe Place need financial support. So you should be proud of asking them for that. And they may be honored that you would ask them to participate. So the keys to success is attending the event, commit to participating, make your own financial gift, select and know your prospect. Have a prospect list of 12 to 15 people. And then again, share the impact of Safe Place services, know those cases for support, find out your guests why they are passionate about Safe Place, or if they are passionate about youth violence or youth trauma. That would be important to your success there. Ask for their commitment in terms of attending and providing financial support. And then share this. We really need this event to go viral, if you will. So we're not limited by geography this year. So if you have folks in Topeka, Kansas that may be interested in what you have to say, invite them to attend the event. And you can do that by asking your family members and your siblings and your friends to also share this information on social media or via email. And then obviously thank everyone. So if you would like to register, we'd love for you to register to be a table host by using the QR code on this side here, or you can visit that website, but obviously it'd be easier. So if you would just turn on the camera of your cell phone and flash it on that QR code at the top there, that will take you to a website where you can register as a remote table host. And then you can make your secure online donation at the website there. So this is a recorded training. So the packet that you will get will also have these links in it as well. So don't feel obligated to have to run and get your cell phone right this moment. So again, just kind of what the numbers we're looking for. If we can get 8 to 10 people at your remote table, then that will typically equate to about $2,000. So we would love for each of our table hosts to commit to raising at least $2,000. And it's just a numbers game, really. Just the more people that you invite, the more people that we get there, and the more people that are passionate about the event. And if you have any questions, you can email me down below, or that's my telephone number. But I'm happy to assist you in any way that I can. And there you go. That's the end of our presentation.